Hello and welcome back to the Little Scale Cars YouTube channel. Today we are going to be going over the Tarmac Works Hobby 64 Ferrari 458 Italia GT3. So without any further ado, let's get right into the casting, alright? So all of our main body sections here, this is all going to be our metal or die-cast parts, which is going to be good. Our plastic sections are going to be our rear wing, our splitter up here, all these little dive planes, the mirrors, these are all plastic. Our bottom piece is all plastic as well. We do have some etched in little vents here, as well as our diffuser nicely done in there. All that being said, I do wish the base was metal, perhaps. I know a lot of mini GTs, their bases are metal, and I think that they look just fine, so I think we could have gotten that. Other than that, though, everything's pretty much as you would expect it to be. Looks identical to a Ferrari 458 GT3. Not bad at all. We got good proportions. Love to see it. Moving on to our paint and deco, we have this bright red Momo livery from the Pirelli World Challenge in 2015. So this is pretty accurate to what that car would have been in that season. And we've got everything you'd want to see on it that the real-life car would have had. We've got our yellow Momo striping, our black and yellow section up top, Momo logos on the side. We've got our number 30 with what class it was in. We've got all these sponsors here as you'd want them to be. We've got our World Challenge logo since it was in the Pirelli World Challenge. We have all of our sponsors in here. We even have all these years dated in up front. We have, moving on to the other side here, all of these again are still there, present. Moving on to the back, we have our GTA, which was what class this would have been in. We've got our SCCA logo. I mean, every little sponsor sticker that you could possibly have had on this car is replicated here, and it looks great. We've even got the driver's name right here, so it looks absolutely fantastic. Moving on to the details of the casting itself, we do have our little plastic antenna up here, which is really fragile, and I'm not positive that I haven't actually broken mine a little bit. I don't remember it being quite this short, and I do remember hitting it earlier on, so it's possible I've actually already broken mine off slightly. A couple other minor things I've noticed were this mirror is red on this side, where it is not on this side. I don't know if that's an error on mine, or if that's just how this car was in real life, and therefore it's accurate. If we go to the back here, we can see the engine through the back window. If we look past this 30 here, and that looks really nice, looks really good. All this engine kind of meshing engine cover meshing is detailed in and textured, and it looks good. Same with here with these vents and parts of the back here. All that is in there. We do have little teeny tiny, see if we can get the camera to focus here, little teeny tiny hooks where the tow hooks would be, which look fantastic. And then in addition to that, we even have our Pirelli logos stamped onto the tires. So another really good job there. Moving on to our roll test. This is a Tarmac Works Hobby 64, which typically do not roll, and yes, it once again does not roll. If you really force the wheels to spin, you can get them to spin. So you'll see those are now in a slightly different position than they were a second ago. But it really does not want to roll. And they apparently do this to be as accurate as possible, I guess, and the margins to be as accurate as possible do not allow for them to roll very nicely. I personally disagree with this statement, because if I bring in this car right here, this is another GT car. As you can see, its margins look just fine, and it rolls just fine. I think it's just an excuse by Tarmac Works. Moving on to our pros and cons. So, our pros, we have absolute every detail you'd want is packed into this thing, and it looks fantastic for it. This is also the first Ferrari 458 in 1/64th, the Ferrari 458 GT3 in 1/64th, that's gotten a real, like, legitimate livery. I think Kyosho did a few 1/64th 458 race cars, but they were just plain. I don't remember them getting any actual liveries. So that's cool. And if they did, there might have been one that got a livery, but it wasn't, it was kind of a limited edition kind of thing. So it's really nice to be getting some 1/64th scale Ferrari race cars, and I'm glad that Tarmac went kind of back in time and didn't just focus on current generation cars. And moving on to our cons, the biggest con right out of the gate, this is going to cost you about $25. No matter where you get it, it seems to be going for anywhere between $20, $25 plus shipping. So it's going to cost you anywhere around 20 to 30 bucks. The reason they say this is because of all these extra details. They say that that is costing them a lot of extra money, and that's what jacks up the prices of the Hobby 64s. Which seems like a reasonable excuse, except for when I, again, bring in something like this Spark Porsche, which has the same amount of sponsors that the real-life car would have had, and it was only $10. But, again, I'm not going to hold it too much against it, because I'm assuming the Ferrari license was very expensive, and if they need to charge a little bit more to be able to make these, then so be it. The other big con, we talked about it earlier, it does not roll, and I see no excuse for that. I know that they've said that their reasoning is that they want it to be looking as accurate as possible, but if you made a slightly enough margin there to let the wheels roll, I don't think it's going to affect the look. I mean, we have countless cars from Spark and Mini GT that prove that. And here is the Tarmac Works Ferrari 458 GT3 next to some other Ferraris you might have in your collection, with the Tomica 488 Spider and the Hot Wheels 458 Spider. And here it is next to some other GT cars you might have in your collection, with the Acura NSX GT3 from Hot Wheels and the Porsche 911 GTE from Sparky. So overall, my final thoughts. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. So the details and paint are fantastic. The livery fits so well with this car. It was an absolutely perfect choice to reproduce. It was executed absolutely perfectly. We don't have any of the big QC issues that we sometimes get out of Tarmac Works. For the price, I believe it should roll. I don't think there's any excuse for that, as it was showed with some of the other examples in here. But it's not the end of the world, and it's not something that I think is should prevent you from picking it up, I suppose is what I'm trying to say. So overall, still really enjoy it. Will pick up a few more in the future, but I do wish that they would roll. So 8.5 out of 10 overall, and that is all I have for you guys. Alright guys, that's all I have for this review of the Tarmac Works Ferrari 458 GT3. I hope you guys liked it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next video.